Good morning. Hand today is going to be 10-6 offsuit. We are in early position, 10-0 game. We fold. Goes to small blind who open raises 2.5, and the big blind's going to call. This player's 11-6, over 70 hands. We don't have a whole lot to go on, other than he's playing 11% of hands, eight out of 70 hands. We can see the breakdown. Not a huge number of hands here. We do have an attempt to steal stat here of 29%. That's 2 out of 7. And when you look at it, it's, he's raising. So you have to go back and say, okay, well, where did he raise as his steal? Well, it's the cutoff 2 out of 3 times. And those look to be the same hands that he played. So he probably had decent hands. So I think his range is actually going to be fairly tight. This is 10%, and I think this is probably good. This is probably a good range for him. It's questionable whether or not King 10, Queen 10 are in there. We'll leave it in, see how it works. All right, the next player is tight. We've played him. I think he was in the last hand. He had the 5-3. I think overall he's playing 16%. Big blind, he plays 21%. Calls 5 out of 20, so about 25%. We can look at all of his hands here. Call 2-bet from the blind range, so I kind of think 3-bet range is going to be jacks plus ace queen. He does have in the ace king, possibly some low aces. I think this would be probably a spot where we would throw in like that ace 4, ace 5 that I think is probably bluffing with. But we've got a bunch of other stuff, so we can see his range. So pocket pairs, 10s and lowers, we've got that. We should probably add, I do think in a situation like this, I bet he's gonna 3-bet. We got ace queen. I mean, we don't have king queen. That's a thing. So maybe it is jacks plus ace queen for him. Yeah, we'll do that along with a couple bluffs. But you can see that we have suited aces. So we have ace 8 suited. I'm going to say we have the rest of them, minus the hands that he would 3-bet. Queen 10, jack 3. So if he's going to have jacks, the suited jacks, then he's going to also have the suited queens and the suited kings. So I added those in. Offsuit looks like it's just Broadway. And then I kind of added, if he's playing all of these suited jacks, he possibly has these suited connectors and gappers. So we're going to go with that. That's 27%. He was playing about 25%, so 5 out of 20. So this is pretty close. Flop comes down, King 9-6 with 2 spades. So just based on ranges here, I think we are going with probably the pre-flop raiser. Might have the slight edge. Definitely does not have as many cards in his range, so he's not going to have as many cards he's going to have to get rid of. I think he's going to connect with hands that he's raising. He could possibly have gut shots, so your 10 jack, jack queen, queen, king, that's your queen 10. He could have he could have all of the kings, ace king, king queen, king jack. His flush draws would likely be the nut flush draws. So let's see what happens. Villain bets 250, so half pot, and then we get a call. So we don't know much about him. Continuation bet out of position, 0 out of 1. This one he actually does. We're going to say top pair plus is what he's betting along with the flush draw. We can give him the gut shot too. Unsure about these. So I'm unsure about the gut shot in these hands. It just kind of depends on how well the player plays. Let's see if the gut shot's out. I think I would have included him as a C bet range, but that's me. So he bets 40. So he bets half pot. That's about 40% of hands. This guy calls. I think definitely he's calling with his gut shot. He's calling with his flush draws. He's calling with top pair plus. I'm gonna exclude sets. I think sets are probably gonna raise here. And I also kind of think two pair would be raising here. There's a pretty decent hand, and if you raise, you kind of expect ace, king, king, queen to be calling here, so you can get some value when you raise. I also think spade draws are going to raise, or I'm sorry, spade draws are going to call, so you can get some value from these raises. There's really no reason to try to slow play and just kind of suck them in. Go for it. Go for the bet. We're deep, 99 big blinds or 100 big blinds on the flop. The only way to get those stacks is to start betting them. I think this guy's probably going to be calling with his pairs. Not sure if he's calling with bottom pair or these second cards, but I think these, like nine's going to probably call. And maybe not even all of them, but like 9-10, 9-jack, 9-queen, I think is going to call. 9-8, 9-7. I think he'll call just to see what's going to happen. Is villain going to bet here? We'll do the 7s and 8s because you have the 6-9 on the board. Likewise, we'll do those hands, that hand, because you have an opportunity to improve to like a gut shot. All right, we'll keep it. So that's 57%. That's close to his fold to C bet stat, so he calls. Jack club comes out. That kind of could improve the gut shot to the straight or kind of give him a pair. All right, so here he goes. He bets half pot again. Probably not king 10. We'll scale it down and say 50% king 10, but I think everything else, top pair plus, he's betting. I'm guessing the flush draw is probably not in there. Not for these players. I mean, he could. Do we have a note on like plays aggressively? No, nothing. 10 and L. I think several players, they bet flop and then they check the flush draws. So I'm going to exclude them. So we're looking at top pair plus. Big blind calls again. So I think he's calling his flush draws, open enders, and then at this point, I do think straights are going to be betting. He has improvement with two pair, but I don't think we're going to get a raise out of him because of the queen 10. Queen 10 gives it straight. I don't think two pair is going to be super aggressive. I think top pair is probably just going to be calling again. Middle pair now with the jacks. I think maybe he could call with those because he improved. This will be the hand where he does not fold to a C bet. His C bet stats are 100%. He improved to a middle pair, but I think we're going to eliminate that. I think he's probably going to start folding because of the bets that are happening. So that's going to be his range. 7 of hearts comes out. Again, connected board. A lot of gut shots would have connected. Villain 8 checks. I don't think he's checking a set. I'm not even sure if he's checking a 2-pair. I think overpair and top pair are probably going to be his most likely hands where you check calls. And the 2-pair could be like a king, queen, king 10. Man, they overpair with the aces. I mean, nothing really got there. Yeah, I think it's this king, queen, king 10. We'll go with that. Probably not the ace, king, or the aces. Again, I just kind of think with the aces, players tend to bet 3 streets. They keep betting with aces. I think same thing with like ace, king. King, queen might be one where they start to settle down and say, okay, well, there's no point in betting because all of the draws are going to fold because the flush draws missed. They could think that. I mean, I would probably think that, but I'd also say, okay, well, what hands could he call if I bet again? And if he has a hand, if villain has a hand like king, queen, or like jack, queen, could I get another call out of him if I bet? Let's say I was doing half pot, half pot. What if I go down to like a third pot? Could I get that call? So this villain check 2. I don't think he's checking the straight. And I also don't think he's checking the 2-pair at this point. Top pair probably is a check. So I think we're looking at something like that. I think this could have been a great opportunity for his missed draws to bet 20. It's going to apply a lot of pressure to villain 8, even with this king, queen, king 10 hands. Even with this top pair, he's going to have to be concerned that, oh man, maybe he's got something beat. Maybe he has that straight and he's just slow playing. So let's see what he has. King 4, so he does have a top pair hand. Had king 4 hearts. This guy has jack 10, so that's kind of interesting. Did not put that here on him. So he did have that gut shot initially. Also, he had jack 10 offsuit, so we'd have to like add the offsuit hands too. So Broadway. Doesn't make sense. Well, going back, we said top pair. We excluded the gut shots, so now we know. Yeah, he probably is going to be betting the gut shots here. And then it kind of makes sense when he improved with the jack to bet again. Still gut shot with a pair. Probably the better option than checking, because you're going to give your opponent a free way to draw to the flush if he has the flush. And I do think this guy has a lot of flush draws because of the suited hands that he's playing. So definitely. So let's get this. So we've got our BvB label. Call SB 2.5 big blind RFI in big blind with king 4 hearts in position call 50% check on king of diamonds, 9 of spades, 6 spades, jack of clubs, 7 of hearts. All right. And this guy, let's get his first note. BvB RFI 2.5 big blind in small blind with jack of spades, 10 of hearts. He is out of position. Bet 50%, bet 50%, check. All right. So that gives us more information. So knowing that he's played jack 10 offsuit as a raise first in, I think I go back and I still keep like 7s plus, but I probably give him all of the Broadway. Or we could always just kind of narrow it down and get rid of like the king 10, queen 10. And it's good to know. So here you have this. This is his flop range, and we go through and we say, okay, well, we're going to give him the gut shot that adds the jack 10. if he has a gut shot, I'd say probably has like 10 jacks and queens too. So maybe this is a player that's not going to just like check those under pairs. We can scale that to let's say 50%. All right, so then the jack of clubs hits, and we know he bets again. So would he bet the king 10? Maybe. But he's betting the gut shot. So middle pair, the jacks. I think those are all of his hands. And would he do the queens? Yeah, probably again. So those are all like gut shot hands. He showed improvement. He showed improvement there. And I think we'd have to add the flush. So basically 100% of his hands again. And then when the 7 of hearts gets there, now that gives us a chance to say, okay, I think he's probably continuing to bet. I'm going to say, I think of the hands to check, king 10 probably checks here. And then he's checking these. And of these hands, if villain bets, or if the big blind bets which hands will fold, king 10 probably calls. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to call again. But if he bets, if big blind bets like pot, like a 20, queens will be hard for him to call. Middle pair is going to be hard for him to call. I think he's probably, so this is 41% of hands. I think the only thing he's going to call is with the king 10. And king queen if he's not betting the king queen. But I think that's all that he's calling. So villain has an opportunity to bet to get a fold. With king 4, I probably wouldn't. I think that's a showdown hand. I don't really think you're getting better kings to fold in this spot. So if you bet and get called, you're going to be losing most of the time. So it's not going to be a bet for value, and I think our hand's too strong to bluff. But if villain had a spade draw and missed, had a spade draw and missed, I bet that. He has a gut shot, open ender, same thing, like same hand, like jack 10, bet. I think I would bet here. You missed. Try to get better hands to fold. Try to take down the pot, because jack 10 is going to be a hard one to get. Jack 10 is going to be a hard one to realize your value. What about this player? If he's betting all these better hands, what kind of bluffs could he have in there? I kind of think maybe like the ace queen, ace 10 of spades. The downside of having those spades bet those, if you have them, that means villain's not having them. It's less likely that he's calling with those types of hands. So I'm kind of thinking, I don't think he has a whole lot of bluffs hands here. I think most of his hands are all kind of value, other than ace queen, ace 10, but I don't think you want to bluff with those. I think it'd be better if he had a hand, let's say like 10-8 of spades, because now you give villain the chance of having the ace x of spades, the nut flush spades, in his hands, and I don't think those hands they've missed. They're not going to fold. I'm sorry, they're not going to call. So the bluff works against those. But ace queen, ace 10, we block. We're blocking the spade, so it's like, okay, well, if we're going to be, blocking the spade draw, then this guy is calling with something else, and the most likely hands would then be a king of some sort. All right, so hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, we can look tomorrow for another one.